Starburns Audio.
Thank you for listening to the Starburns Audio Podcast Network. We have so many great comedy shows to add to your playlist. Just last week on Starburns Audio, on the Season 2 premiere of Humans Who Make Games, Adam Conover talks to comedian Ron Funches and Jean Goudon, creative director of the Assassin's Creed series. On Boogie Monster, Kyle Kinane and Dave Stone share a perfect recipe for the quarantined cook. This week on Profiles and Eccentricity, they cover the history of the Coruscant Unity cult, folks for whom a flat earth is ridiculous because they believe it's really a concave shell. Search Starburns Audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcast platform for our full list of shows, featuring hosts like Joe Coy, Amanda Seals, Jessica Chobot, and Jackie Johnson. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Starburns Audio. Enjoy the show. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep laughing.
Starburns Audio.
Dan and Ren and Jay will share tales of folks so unaware they lack in grace and sometimes choose the life they choose will make the news. Breaking down each epic fail in Florida, there's half-price bail. I'm happy to say they couldn't make this up. So listen to our podcast jam with co-hosts Arm and Dan. Benders, don't be a jerk, cause when the music hits, the funny hits, and we are gonna take you down. Stick around. Make a sound, hunker down, it's Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome to DPT, the Tiger King wrap-ups.
DP Tiger King? I don't know.
Hey Townies, welcome to a Tiger King roundup of Dumb People Town. Population, I know that was the weirdest opening ever, but we just watched episodes 2 and 3 together.
Episode 2 was definitely Tiger King. Episode 3 seemed to be from some other documentary called
Cold Case Files.
Searching for Don.
Yeah, this was like
Where'd Don go? Don in the Costa Rica disappearance. Costa Rica.
Donde está Don?
Yeah.
Don Lewis.
I mean, I love that there were a couple of things that were floated in here. There's moments that flash through with me. Like I was the guy who ran a circular saw across his neck.
Well, let's start out. So we start out with, is it Saf?
Saf.
And he has gotten his arm
completely ripped off by a tiger. No, not ripped off, but like mangled in a way.
They do say ripped off at the beginning, but later on, Saf is like...
No, but then Saf said that...
Yeah, it was like dangling.
He had movement in his hands.
And was able to sign something.
Sign
some autographs.
Yeah. But then they said... Look, I got to get back out there and keep working.
Right.
I can't be up in this hospital for more than 6 days. I got to get back on the
job within a week.
Because then Joe Exotic walks into the gift shop and tells everybody, all right, before y'all hear this on the news, we did have an incident here, and y'all can get your refund back.
I get your refund back if you want it. By the way, he was like, if you want it. I mean, you already paid. I could reach back into the register.
If you want to be a dick and come in here and
you
ask
can
for
take
your
money back. Look, somebody's arm got ripped off. It ain't no big deal. Go check out some kids. Why don't you go over there and check out some of that sex oil?
If you want to be an Indian giver.
If you've ever taken your money back from the Tiger King, you might be a redneck.
I was going to see where you went. I was waiting for them to be like, you want a rain check? You want your money back? Fine. If you are interested for just a $10 more, I can take you and show you the arm.
I will show you where the blood existed.
You guys will be able to feed pieces of the arm to the tigers
We'll
themselves.
take pieces of the ripped arm and feed it to the rest of the cubs.
Or I will offer each of you a pair of my leopard print underwear.
So, number one seller, right?
Number one seller.
Yeah. So, but I feel like episode 2 was very much about relationships. We focused a lot on Doc and his women or young women.
Doc is basically.
women.
Did you watch the special?
Love?
No, the special on the Bikram.
Yes, of
That's
course.
So
The ESPN 30 for 30
That's what I'm
podcast is
talking
even
about.
better
That's
than
what-
the Netflix.
Right. I watched everything. I watched the
Yeah,
Netflix,
me too,
but
yeah.
then I listened to the Bikram
Yeah.
thing, and I saw even the Real Sports thing with Andrea Kramer, where she's at his house and like he's yelling at her
I
because he
haven't
can't
seen that.
control her.
Oh, it's great. She
she's
goes
downstairs and like can
off. He's in like black jeans with a belt
Yeah.
and like a black.
This is the Bikram
Leotard.
guy.
yeah. Bikram is
Bikram
like
himself.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka if he didn't kill his wife but just controlled a bunch of people.
And I always looked at Bikram the guy, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be in better shape than this.
When he was younger, he was in insane shape.
Yeah,
He
for
was.
sure.
He's in insane shape. This guy's unbelievable. But
But you know who else was a young and in insane shape? Doc.
right.
and Joe Exotic.
Randy, you bring it up every time
Doc
we see a young
looks
Doc.
like-
He
He looks like
good.
he's in the band Toto. You know, he was holding the line and then
But
he
then
kind of
as he
gave
got
up.
older, he looked like he was in the band Crash Test Dummies. And
There-
now
yeah.
he just looks like a dummy.
He looks like a fat boomer size.
Fat Boomer Esiason, or if John Innes from Mr. Show, that is a character that he needs to play.
Okay, so
Safari.
Oh, we're dropping stuff. That's okay. Keep
so
going.
Safari
literally
John Innes.
about stop, Jay. Stop.
all
Stop.
right,
Everything
player.
that you're doing, just stop it. So what was happening is they each had harems, but it reminded me. He called himself Bhagavan, which is what the Bhagavan, what Osho, the guy from Wild Wild Country, used
Yeah,
to call himself.
for sure. Yeah.
So they are the ultimate Lord.
Bhagwan?
Bhagwan.
But he was, but
Bhagavan. Bhagavan
Yeah,
is like
yeah, yeah,
Bhagwan.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like he's the Rajneeshi to
Lord,
these people.
you will be I will be Lord. First of all, I'm going to change your name.
I'm going to
is
make
the-
you get
the
fake
first thing,
breasts.
yeah.
I'm going to put you in clothes that I choose for you to wear. This is all.
I control
this is
everything. I decide
Wild
when
Wild
you
Country,
eat. I
man.
decide when you work.
That's
I
right.
decide when you
That's right.
relax.
That's
I
right.
decide when you have sex.
I'm ugly, yet I'm going to, except in the 70s, I'm ugly, yet I
You
am.
think that's how he describes it? Look, except in the 70s,
That's how
I
he-
get I'm on
Here's
the
a
Hot in the
picture of-
70s is a great
Hot in the 70s.
name for a show.
Right.
Yeah, or a cover band.
Yeah,
Yes.
or a reunion tour.
For sure.
Right? So
Yeah.
he was
Just like Foreigner and Loverboy.
There was a moment where he was a good-looking dude. I will grant
gonna
him.
give
He
him
was
that.
in the late 70s, early 80s.
He looked
That's-
like he was in the band Boston.
right. He was a good-looking guy, but
Okay.
now he is a fat piece of shit. And the whole idea of him just controlling these 17-year-old girls,
Like when you see the elephant that he's riding, like laboring a little bit, you're like, bro,
come on, dude.
lay off the streusel.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also took a deep dive into the marriage of Joe Exotic and
three-way marriage.
Shirtless man and big hand guy. I
Yeah.
don't remember their names.
Johnny,
I saw his big,
Evan,
big
Trevor. Was it Trevor?
Travis.
Why not?
Travis.
Travis. It was Travis.
6'6" Travis. I wonder if Travis can dunk.
What size 16 shoes?
He could
Size
palm a
six.
basketball.
Yeah.
And by the way, didn't he in the green screen thing look a lot smaller? When
Yes.
he's sitting down. I was like,
I-
no way this guy's 6'6", and then they're showing footage of
They
him.
this documentary spanned a long time.
Right. So
Yeah.
he shrunk?
No, I just think he was skinnier in that earlier one.
Yeah, he put on some pounds.
Yeah.
And they said,
they-
how straight are you? That
Yeah.
moment was also.
How straight are
So
you,
Ron
moment?
White has this joke where he's like, everybody's a little bit gay,
Right.
and it's his. I think it's from one of the blue collars specials.
Doesn't
But he
matter.
was like, everybody's a little bit gay, and he said his cousin goes, I ain't gay at all. And Ron White goes, when you watch porn, you watch a man with a little old penis going at a woman, or do you like to see a big old
That's
dick?
it.
And then he goes, well, I like to see a big old dick. And he goes, well, so literally. It's
He
the same
stole-
argument. Yes, I wonder. He probably saw the
He's
blue
probably
collar
so-
comedy.
I'm sure he's like a huge
100%.
blue
and
collar
he
comedy.
made him be like, oh, that's why maybe I'm a little.
What if
gay.
in episode 7 he's like, so I turned to her and I said, thanks, Diane.
Yeah.
He like starts quoting your comedy.
He's like call me Tater.
I mean,
Tater salad.
Here's your sign.
Right. He starts yelling about Chopper 4, and you
Oh,
guys
God. We're
write
like,
up
what?
a cease and desist.
It's like
right away.
Chopper 4. Hey, stop it.
So I believe Joe Exotic not only illegally procured all these animals, he also stole material from Ron Tater
Fine.
Salad White.
Whatever.
So then we see this like woke ass
Which, by
Oklahoma
the,
wedding.
By the way, you know, if we ever get out of this pandemic and comedy clubs reopen again, you know Joe Exotic, if he's smart, will go out and sell out everywhere. Like he will.
Comedy clubs, dude. He could sell out theaters. He could sell out giant 1,000 to 2,000.
And now
seat
we haven't
theaters.
watched episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7, and he may be
a
Dead.
murderer.
a dead or a murderer straight
I
up.
don't believe everyone's going to make it out of this documentary because I've been watching and there's a lot of time passing in interviews, like a long amount of time.
Dude, it's crazy.
Also, I brought this up. You guys haven't responded to it yet, so I'm glad you saved it for this. Do you notice?
Yeah.
We are not seeing any old tigers.
What does an
Yeah,
old
no.
tiger look like?
Well,
Dan?
I just think
Old
they might be
tigers.
like, well, we've had this one forever.
Yeah.
And Joe Exotic talks about how he feeds his animals.
Dan, they raise them to a certain age, then they sell them.
Yeah, but how's he still feeding all those tigers that cheap unless he's using
That feeding them
themselves?
other tigers?
Yes.
So he's
That's my
cannibalizing the
theory.
tigers.
That's my theory.
Maybe.
And I don't like it. Obviously, you've seen how I react when watching this
Once
show.
a tiger has a taste of Don Lewis, he ain't going back.
Well, we're going to get to that.
He ain't going back.
We're going to get to that. So we see the marriage.
Yep.
How consensually, I mean, really open communication. Joe asked shirtless man whether or not Travis could join their partnership.
By the way, and he was like,
you liked that.
he
You were
said-
like, how
I
nice.
said, that is so woke.
Yeah, very sweet.
Where?
Very sweet. Check in with your partner. See if they're okay with
But
this
he said, I
polyamorous-
don't see any problem with it, which was not like a.
That's not an
let's
excited
do
yes.
it. That's so. If
Right.
you were,
That's not an enthusiastic
Okay, let me ask
consent.
you this: if your wife or girlfriend or partner, I'm asking you guys out there, says to you, let's go to dinner at such and such place, and
Right.
your response is, I don't see any problem with it. Then your partner, if they know you, should be like, you don't want to
Okay,
go
we're
there.
not
Right,
gonna
because
go there.
part of every argument is I want you to want to go where we're going.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we go over to
Yes.
yeah, let's do it. Great call is what you say.
Great call.
Not I don't
yes.
see a problem.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I
that
didn't think
sounds
of that.
great.
Yeah.
That's not what 1, 2
Can the three of us get married? I don't see a problem with
Yeah.
it.
Because I didn't know any better. That's what he said.
Right.
So there were issues.
There's another thing that happened with Doc where he was like, I can see the line of questioning you're going here where you're going to say, oh, you're a cult and you keep all
Let
this.
me
people."
stop you first.
There's a thing where guilt that a lot of guilty people do. If you watched Criminal Masterminds, the documentary on Netflix where the guy has a bomb strapped to him and tries to rob a bank.
Saw it.
Yes.
Saw it.
So the woman who's insane in that, right?
She basically says, if I did it, then
Right.
I
So
did do this,
they
this, and
tell
this.
you
Exactly.
everything that they're doing by
It's Carol
protesting.
Baskin in the next episode.
Right, we'll
get to
so,
that.
So Doc is essentially saying like
If that was
he's admitting all the shit
All
he's
of it.
doing by acting like he's telling you he doesn't do it.
I mean,
So
if I
there's
did
that.
it, how would I do that? The way you just described
And
it.
Joe Exotic is not smart enough to even do that. He's just saying, Joe Exotic on the backside of that is like, yeah, we're like a cult. He's like a cult. We both have kind of cultish
Whoa,
things.
whoa, whoa. And
He's got a harem of 4 people. I got a harem of 3 people. What are we,
He's
in a
got-
competition or
He's
something?
got a harem of
Pretty good.
27, 16-year-olds, and I'm banging 2 dudes.
So then we end that episode with finding out that something once happened to the second husband of Carol Baskin.
I mean,
And that's where that ends. And you were like, what a way to
I was
end
like,
it.
great editing.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Working remotely can be a challenge, especially for teams that are new to it. How do you deal with your work environment being the same as home while staying connected and productive? And then there's your newest coworker, the cat. Well, your friends at Trello have been powering remote teams globally for almost a decade. At a time when teams must come together more than ever to solve big challenges, Trello's here to help. Trello, part of Atlassian's collaborative suite, is an app with an easy-to-understand visual format, plus tons of features that make working with your team functional and just plain fun. Trello keeps everyone organized and on the same page, helping teams communicate, focus, and connect. Teams of all shapes and sizes at companies like Google, Fender, Costco, and likely your favorite neighborhood coffee shop all use Trello to collaborate and get work done. Try Trello for free and learn more at Trello.com. That's Trello.com. Trello.com.
We thought we were in for a great
We
episode.
were excited.
Maybe it's totally okay if you guys liked that third episode more than
thought
I
it was
did.
good.
Look,
It
Dan-
was less for us to comment on, and it was just more like there was less crazy stuff, except
Because
like
it wasn't interesting.
But they glossed over the
but
fact.
these are the problems with, in what I contend are, documentaries that should be 4 episodes,
Yes.
but they're 7 episodes.
Yes.
Like
what
the
did
staircase.
you say? That's like the staircase.
The
but-
staircase, but like episode 14 of the staircase, out of like 19 episodes, I was like, bro, throw me down a staircase.
Yeah.
I want my head to splatter
You're
out.
like, I
can't-
get it. It was an owl.
I can't
Let's go.
watch the
Give me the-
lawyer
get me the
talking
owl
about
theory.
Yeah.
talking about the case and showing me, like, I literally felt like I went to law school when I sat through that much court. Or I was on jury duty.
Dan, what was your joke about all the uhs and the yas in Making a Murderer? If you cut
yes.
all
Yeah,
of
that was an
Brendan
early joke of
Dassey,
mine.
you cut all of Brendan Dassey.
All the yeah.
If you cut all those out, how many episodes?
episodes.
There you
Four
go.
episodes.
Right. What was
And-
that, like 13, two seasons?
So when you're making a document, I mean, it's funny because now we're in a thing. When you're making like a in the zeitgeist documentary for Netflix, you go 7 episodes, 7, 8 episodes. You probably have enough material for like 6, and you have some tributaries, 6 to tell or 5 to 6 to tell you a tight story.
Right.
And then you go on the tributaries.
Tributary, a whole episode about Carol. But I think the point of this one, if I may, is to create Carol Baskin and to shatter any image that you think that she's clean.
Yeah.
And to create her or sympathy for Joe Exotic for trying to kill this woman if she
Well,
kills
they
someone
started out by saying she has a bunch of volunteers that she doesn't pay, and she on there said she makes tens of thousands of dollars
On
every
their
month on the
YouTube
Facebook page and the YouTube page.
Yeah.
So why aren't you paying your volunteers? Like, to me, that would be
doesn't
like
have to.
comedy clubs saying, like, we're not paying you. No, you got to pay people to do their stuff because that's...
But she set it up that they feel like that's a privilege of theirs that they get to come.
Yeah,
and
but
spend
that
time.
to me, that was the
I hate it, but-
that was the attitude of MTV in the 1990s when we lived in New York.
We lived in New York. They're like, you're lucky to be here.
You're lucky to be working for us. So they paid us to star and be the head writers and creators of the show. I think we did how many episodes? 13 episodes?
14.
14 episodes. I think Randy and I each made
I don't know. It's
whatever it was.
not
like
necessarily.
It was low.
It was like $2,000 an episode, which for
all the
working
work
for
you're
months
doing.
and
Right,
months
right.
and
That's
months
less
on
than
this
even
thing.
just like being in
It's
something.
less than like we did 4 jobs and we made nothing, and there was nothing we could say about it because they're like, you're lucky to be here.
You're lucky to be here. So that's the
And
thing.
for everybody who thinks, well, that's not that bad, take out that times 2, but then also think like that might be your big job for the year.
And
so
they're
like,
saying-
It was our only job for 2 years.
See, that's what I'm saying.
and they're
And
saying-
kept us from doing other jobs.
And they're saying on there, people aren't going home for Christmas.
Right.
People are working there the whole time because they want to, because she set up this stratification that red shirts are down here, blue shirts are up here, royal blue shirts are over here,
Cobra
navy
Kai
blue
mentality.
shirts over here. So before you can get a navy blue shirt, something that's like maybe cost like which
I would
which
never
you
go
probably
there,
have to
but
pay
we should
for.
go there and wear navy blue shirts.
No, her thing also of like, I don't even know their names until they've been here for 5 years. Don't say that.
You should know their names.
Don't
if you're
say
not
that.
paying them, then get to know them, dummy.
Yeah.
So I got really mad at Carol until she said she was raped, and then I was like, can't get mad at her. Can't get mad at her
But
anymore.
see, to me, that's where it all comes back to power. So you had Joe Exotic that was treated horribly by
Yep.
his family
Yep.
and couldn't control the things in his life.
Right.
So he wanted to create something he could control.
That's right.
Right. And then you had you had Carol, right, who lost all this control when I very sympathetic to the fact that she was
Totally.
obviously what am I, a
Completely.
fucking idiot?
Horrifying.
Yeah.
But again, these animals are some of the most powerful things in the world.
And if you can control them, then you control
yes.
the narrative
To me,
of what's
that's what
going
it's
on.
all
That
about.
is, I
also,
agree.
as much as they make me hate her and wish I could get back to Joe Exotic, this is not the old adage of the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
The enemy of my enemy is still an
My enemy.
when it comes to Tiger
Yeah,
King.
dude. Like
Yeah.
let me just say this. None of you should have these animals. I don't care what you're doing. These animals should be allowed to roam free in Africa, should be allowed, or India,
Yeah.
or wherever they come, China, wherever
Yeah.
they come from. These animals should be let loose in the wild to do their thing. Like a rescue organization should be able to get these animals,
Foster them
That's
long
what
enough
Carol
to
will
put
tell
them
you
back
she is.
into.
But Carol, you are not. You've got to get them out of there because you can't. Either that, you just have to either get funding from a real place that's doing it, and then you can help facilitate them till they
Right,
get to that
right.
place. But you can't be making money
So
on it.
And
before-
you can't have more than 1 or 2. Look, a zoo has 1 or 2. I don't even love zoos, but I'll tell you this.
know where I'm at on
I
zoos
know
from
where you
last
are
episode.
on zoos, but I will say this. For some people, getting to go to a zoo and educate your children and have them...
If it's a place where they can't live in the wild, I'm fine with it. If it's a
Okay.
real sanctuary. But if it's just like we wanted another penguin, then I'm like, leave the fucking
That's
penguin
it.
alone.
That's
Agreed.
it.
But let me
Agreed.
ask you guys this. So before we run out of time here,
Yeah.
where do you tell me what you think happened to Don in
Okay.
episode 3?
So I love that just briefly they talked about him being pushed out of a window into the Gulf.
I know, that was like a
I was
footnote. I'm like-
so I was like, this was like in
And
the.
who pushed him
This
out?
was like
Carol?
in the.
No.
in the-
Dude in the clown tie who kept getting lower in his chair. That lawyer is my favorite person.
he was like that
he
was
was like
the
a-
world's biggest baby.
He was like a baby in an adult suit.
Literally.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
He was like if Paul
He was
Dooley,
the baby boss.
if Paul Dooley lost his exoskeleton and
Sure.
just started
Refund.
So that moment where they're like, yeah, I mean, somebody could have just opened up the door and knocked him out and just pushed him out. That to me was like the moment in Rand University, the ESPN documentary about Randy Moss, where he's like, I just stomped on his neck twice and then that's it. And then he glossed over. I was like, whoa. You stomped on a guy's neck. I just stomped on his neck twice and that was it. You should never stomp on anyone's neck. Once, let alone twice. And don't gloss over it. That's the biggest thing that you'll ever do to anybody in their entire life is stomping on their freaking neck.
That's insane.
So pushing someone out of the door and that's it. Like, who did it? Was it the guy
who
was
helped
flying
with
the
that?
plane? Who's he flying the
But
plane
here's
with?
what really I think happened. Don told everybody he was going to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I believe that's true.
What
okay?
if Don just disappeared on his own and is living down in Costa Rica? You don't know that.
Oh, so my thing is, he told her,
Yeah,
when I get back from Costa Rica, this is done.
that's right. I'm moving this all down to Costa Rica.
Yes.
And you don't get any of it.
And you don't get any of it.
And so she never let him leave.
So she
And
shot
she
him
100% fed him to one of those
to one of
tigers.
the tigers.
She killed him and fed him to the tiger.
Well, that is 100% what I believe.
Where did all the blood go?
They ate it.
I think she could have killed him and dropped him in the lake that they have. No one's dragged that lake.
That's true.
So, like,
this
no-
whole septic tank theory too. I'm
Septic
like,
tank
Joe,
theory.
settle down.
By the way,
Joe.
her answers for all the possible theories that have happened over
She's
time
thought
that she's
about it.
formulated are the same answers as Doc Antle in terms of that he's not a cult.
Let me list everything I did with saying I didn't
mean,
do it.
if I was a
How
cult,
would I do that?
why would they be smiling if they were in a cult?
So before we get out of here too, we have to do two last quick things. We have to talk about another music video we got today called "Here Kitty Kitty."
Here, Kitty Kitty,
Joe
which,
Exotic dressed as a priest,
just as a priest, but with a black hat on.
of course.
Because I guess he's pronouncing Don Lewis dead.
Yeah, you're probably right.
she's-
There's
he's
some-
the execute. And
You're doing exotic logic right
and
now.
they get
That's the name of these.
they get the
Some
exotic.
people
they get
count exotic logic.
So they get a fatter Carol Baskin.
fatter Carol Baskin.
Fat Baskin, and then Fat Baskin is feeding.
Fat Baskin is my
Feeding-
favorite. By the way, she's not that fat,
was.
but I'm just saying, Fat Baskin is my favorite.
A bigger Baskin.
It's my favorite.
And that's not a judgment. She's just technically a bigger basket.
What if he's like, wait, we're gonna need a bigger Baskin?
yeah, it is.
So that
She's
person is
feeding-
feeding meat to the tiger in the cage.
But how
And then
Which
the
is supposed to
tiger
be
eat.
done.
Then the tiger rips the tongs out. I was
Yep.
like,
you're not getting those back.
try and barbecue with those now.
Yeah. And then was there a cliffhanger? Did we feel like there was much of a cliffhanger on this one? Really? I don't
No, I think they just kind of wrapped it up. It was a detour that went far away from
Very far.
the
It's a
main-
detour to cast doubt on Carol Baskin and who
As a
she is,
person.
of which now I do have a lot of doubt. Like, you think she killed her husband and fed her to the tigers.
I didn't like her from the jump.
You didn't like her from the
I
jump?
don't like that type of smile.
She's
That, like,
too-
hi.
Like when I didn't like.
I didn't
about-
like her when she said how much money she was making on Facebook and not paying her employees.
Yep.
I know.
That's what bothered me about
She
her.
could pay these people just on Facebook and
So-
then keep everything else.
So the other thing is that,
Also, I'm like, how do we
yes.
make money on Facebook?
That's right. So the other thing is that that I understand why Joe Exotic really doesn't like her. I totally get it because
But it doesn't make him any more right. I know
No.
you're not saying that. I'm just saying.
I'm saying I
highlighting it.
get exactly where his anger is coming
Sure.
from. Not justified, but I get where it's coming
You
from.
see the logic.
She's making tons of money. He's not making any money. He's got employees that he
He's
is
going
like,
on the gas station asking people if they want to take a chance.
which by the way was kind of nice that he took that woman in.
$138.52 if you want me to
52
be
goddamn
exact.
cents.
Remember when they asked him how many wives Doc has?
He's like,
I don't give a fuck.
Old toothless Joe.
Oh, and they showed the conditions they're living in there in Joe
Oh my God,
Exotic's
the
place
rat
too.
in the drawer.
I know.
Rat in the drawer.
Probably
I
going to be
mean-
a song that he sings.
There's a rat in the drawer, and I can't
Dr.
feel her.
Pepper on this chair.
And I
No,
can't
so much
feel
Dr.
her
Pepper
no
and
So
more.
much Dr.
and
Pepper.
Big Red and Mountain Dew Code Red.
But Dan, flavors of Dr. Pepper that I've never seen before. Like, I didn't know there was a mango Dr.
What's
Pepper.
Dr. Lavender?
All right, there you go,
yeah,
guys.
that
That's
wraps it up.
episodes 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
We are going to do episodes 4 and 5 on Thursday. We'll
think
give you
so,
the
yeah.
time if we can get that
And
all
maybe
set
wrap
up.
it up before the weekend's done.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'd love to be able to do it on the weekend when everybody should officially be off and no other workday plans.
Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for participating in this. And it's just a fun community building thing that we're getting to do with you guys. We love you. And oh shit, we got to get back to work.
Dum 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 dum. Stick around, make a sound, hunker down. It's Dumb People Town.
Starburns Audio.
A podcast network.